look me in the eyes and tell me, where did all the money go? You've worked for 20 years, maybe 30 years. And then if we add it up, you've earned tens and thousands of dollars. So I'm talking about dollars because this is an international audience. So you've earned even millions, tens of millions in your own currency, working in the past 30 years. And then when you look at your wallet, you're asking, where did all the money go? Has this happened to you? Has it happened to me? If it has happened to you, just type in the comment section, happened to me. So you're probably 45, you're 55, you're 64, and you look back and you are asking that question, where did all the money go? So let me tell you about my own experience, how it happened to me. I was working with Chevron at the time. And then as I've told you, and as I'm about to also remind you, that salary is not wealth. Because I was earning a lot of salary. I was earning huge. I was in the top 0.01% in the country in terms of what I earned working in that environment. But money was never enough. And it wasn't that I built a house. It wasn't that I did anything special, like any special project or created any special asset. The money just vanished. Just vanished. So one day, Chevron, for some of you who were in Chevron, if it's a Chevron staff listening to me, if you were there in the mid-2000s, sometime around 2003, 2002 to 2003, Chevron developed an app. We call it app now. It wasn't called app at that time, but it was just something in our intranet that queried the database, the HR database, and you could find out how much the company had paid you since you joined the company. So you key in your name, your staff ID on your system, and then it showed everything you earned since you joined the company. My friends, when I saw the number against my name, my first impulse was that this was a lie. This couldn't be true. The amount of money I saw there was staggering. All the bonuses, all the salary the company had paid me, all the what people from this part of the world call ESTA codes or something. What was it called? Per diem. All the per diem that I earned every time I traveled. Either I went to Escravos, which was Chevron's offshore location, or maybe I went to the United States. I went to Chevron's office in San Ramon to do some project, or I went to Houston, Chevron's office in Houston to do project. All the per diem that they paid in those days, they were all in that report. When I saw it, I said, this is a lie. There's no way I could have earned that amount of money. So I started going through the items line by line. And truly, the company had paid me that amount of money, rolling in the millions, plus all the dollars, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in bonuses and all kinds of things, in my promotion, all kinds of things. But I was always lacking money. And by the time I was leaving Chevron, I was also asking the question, where did the money go? And in fact, it's a very important question to settle tonight, especially if you're over 40 and over 50, and then you look behind you. There's nothing to show for having worked for 20, 30 years. I heard a 64-year-old man ask that question, where did all the money go? Because he has no assets, he has no stocks, he has nothing, but he earned a lot of money. Where did all the money go? So, in fact, I need you to type it in the comment section, everybody. Where did all the money go? And I would like you to tell me your experience, okay? So for all of you in the live session now, I want you to tell me how many years you've been working. Every one of you. Remember, this is a coaching session, not a teaching session, not a lecture. I know I lecture in the universities, but this is not a lecture. So I would like that interaction with me. And I also like to hear your thoughts as you listen. Put it in the comment section and I'm going to read it out. So you can tell me the country that you are joining from and then let me know how many years you've worked. Everybody do this. Okay, Victor has worked for 33 years. Okay, so everybody tell me what country you are joining from and then how many years you've worked. Okay, Augustine has worked for 10 years. So I'm seeing 33 years and I'm seeing 30 years. Okay, Oyegunle Aziz, 8 years. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Tell me, how many years have you been working? This is a very important exercise, okay? How many years have you been working? Keep it going, keep it going, keep it coming, keep it coming. All right, so the question we are asking tonight is you've been working or you've worked for 10, for 20, for 30 years. And then you have nothing to show for it. So where did all the money go? I'm going to break it down for you tonight and then give you a 4-step plan to arrest the situation. But first of all, we must understand it. Okay, Oyegunle Aziz is in Northern Ireland. BJ Heaven, 6 years working from Cameroon. Okay, Stephen has worked for 17 years. Christopher Mapipo Jr. has worked for 20 years. Paul Chizoma has worked for 15 years. Chief Bema is joining from the Netherlands. Chief Bema has worked for 25 years. Oluga Patrick, Uganda, 4 years. So you have a particular unique opportunity to be in the room with people who have worked for 35 years. And then you are going to hear things tonight that will keep you from making the kind of mistakes that I made. In fact, mine was particularly bad because I remember my wife, my dear wife, really had it rough. I was supposed to be earning lots of money, but we were always looking for money in the house. We were always looking for money to fuel her car, to do school run and things like that. And it's like, at the end of the month, with all that money, where did it go? I had no answer. So one day, she woke me up very early in the morning. And if you're married here, if you're a married man here, and your wife wakes you up at 3 a.m. in the morning, one word for that, serious. That it's very, very serious. So she said to me, sweetheart, do you know that if we run into emergency right now, that we don't have 1,000 naira saved anywhere that we could go to? So many times, our good jobs, well-paying jobs, give us illusion of wealth, because I was working with Chevron, and then Chevron covered everything, medicals for me and for my wife and the children, covered everything. Then I switched to Shell. Shell covered everything, of course, medicals, insurance, housing. They even bought generators. They even bought generators for me. They covered everything. So it gives you that false sense of security. In fact, let me tell you a very humorous experience, working with the oil industry. So usually, whether it was with Shell or with Chevron, anytime I was traveling abroad or even locally, these companies had very, very amazing logistics arrangement. So they called them protocol at that time. And then everything from getting my visas to coming to pick me in the house. So sometimes, if you're traveling in the traffic, you will see some of these vehicles flashing lights, and then you have SPY, police, following. So we were the people inside that vehicle being escorted to the airport. And then before I got to the airport. The protocol people were waiting there, and then for some of you familiar with how Shell operates, or Chevron, you usually will see those people, the men and women with the Shell sign at the airport, wearing that Shell jacket. Okay? All right. Clement, welcome. Welcome to the community. Very good. Okay, thank you. Now, so I got there. They were the ones that took my luggage out of the car. They were the ones that took my passport, went to the check-in counter, and then got my boarding passes out. And then, of course, I'll go straight to the business class lounge. I didn't lift a finger. And when it was time to board, they will, of course, announce at the lounge. And then because we were business class, we will go first. And as I entered the plane, because I was in business class, those air hostesses will come. And, they will come so nicely, as I'm settling down in the seat. They'll come, oh, hello, Mr. Ogbo, because they already know your name. They were trained for that. Hello, Mr. Ogbo, welcome today. Shall I take your jacket? And I say, yeah, of course. And they take my jacket and put in that small compartment that they put that. And then as I'm settling, they will say champagne or orange juice or something. He said, okay, just give me water. And so I had that sort of thing. Now, I now quit Shell. And next time I was traveling, guess what? Your boy had to go to the airport by himself. And of course, I couldn't travel business class. I could not travel business class. So I did not go to the business class lounge like everybody. I had to go get my boarding pass like everybody else. And I sat in the common people's area. And then worse still, when I was entering the plane, no air hostess came to say, oh, hello, Mr. Ogbo, you're welcome. Nobody. You're just going to the economy or to the coach session. So you see, your good job is an illusion. It gives you an illusion of wealth. But whatever that your company, you're working with a multinational, and then some of you working abroad with some really big companies. They fly you to Australia, and as you're getting to Australia, there's a limo waiting for you to take you to a 5-star hotel. Everything is done. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been there, done that. It's a false life. And I think that's what deceives so many of us working in very, very big companies that pay extremely well. It gives you an illusion of wealth. It gives you an illusion of comfort and control. But the moment that job quits and you can't maintain that level of life, then you know that the company we're working for was deceiving you, all right? Anybody with that sort of experience, is anybody who has worked for 20 years, have you had the kind of experience I just described? Tell us about it in the comment section, all right? Where you were working with a very big multinational, like I did, but by the time you left, you couldn't cope. You couldn't cope with that same style of life, So that's what financial slavery looks for. Because all that time that I was working in Shell, all that time that you were working for 20, 30 years, you weren't building wealth. You were renting survival. So your job might be such a very high-paying job, might be working in the best of places, with the big 5 consulting firms or something. But you see, most times you're not building wealth. You're just renting survival. So millions of people, hardworking, are just wondering, how did I work for this number of years? And then I still have nothing that works for me. It's because salary is not wealth. Many of us were not told that, the salaries we were paid the salaries to forget our dreams. We earn just enough to stay alive and then to, brag and then show everybody that we are doing well, but we didn't earn enough to escape. Okay, so we paid rent, we paid everybody, we paid school fees, we bought status, cars, and lived in very expensive neighborhoods and all that. But we never bought freedom. This will begin to tell you where the money went for 20 years that you have been working. You've been doing 9 to 5, 30 years in the civil service. And then you're asking, where did the money go? It's all your income. If all the income you earned was through effort, then you don't have money. You just have muscle. All right, so let's begin to tear the paradigm, to attack the paradigm that causes people to work for 20 years, 30 years, even 40 years, and then have nothing to show with it. Okay, so number one, money doesn't disappear. My money didn't disappear. When Chevron showed me that money, it didn't disappear. It obeys direction. Money doesn't disappear. Money obeys direction. And I'm going to explain that. But I'd like someone to type it in the comment section. Money doesn't disappear. Money simply obeys direction. So I didn't lose my money. And then if you've worked for 30 years and nothing to show for it, you didn't lose your money. You spent it without a system. And this is very important. Because as I'm talking to you, there are many of us in our 40s and 50s and 60s, and we don't have a system for earning money. We don't have a structure for earning money. So we're just making it random event. But spending money without a wealth plan is just poverty with better shoes. So one of the biggest problems that we have, I see it in America. I see it every time in America. It's also in the UK. It's all over Africa. People spend money without plans. And even when you save, your saving means nothing if your spending is not weaponized. Your savings rate, I mean, if you like, you can save 90% of your salary or something. But if your spending is not weaponized, it means nothing. Because inflation, we eat it up, and emergencies, and then, some of you in diaspora, who pay the so-called black tax, you know how difficult, it could be. So, spending money without a system is part of the reason that you work for 20 years and 30 years, and then you look back, there's nothing to show for it. Okay, so you were not stupid, you were just untrained. I wasn't stupid, because if I was stupid, I couldn't work in Shell. There's no way. And then for some of you, if you've gone through Shell's recruitment process, in those days, my recruitment took 18 months. And then that year, of course, when Shell advertises, thousands of people want to work in Shell. So before they can select you, you can't be stupid. So I wasn't stupid. I was just untrained, financially. And that's the problem with so many people doing 9 to 5. You don't have financial intelligence. And what you need, the first thing you need is not to start investing in stocks or investing in real estate or something. The first thing you need to is invest in your own mind, which is where the Financial Fitness Challenge comes in. That's my mentorship group. It happens every month. We're currently enrolling for this month. It happens every month. And people who are there, first thing that happens to them, their mind is totally rewired with, because the thing is, as a 9 to 5 file, the way you look at money is totally different from the way an investor looks at money. And in the Financial Fitness Challenge, in my mentorship group, the fulcrum, the leverage is investing. It's investing because there are 3 and only 3 money building skills. Whether you're talking about Warren Buffett, or you're talking about Elon Musk, or you're talking about Dangote or the big names, there are only three pillars. The first skill is knowing how to make money. And I use MMM for all of them, having the skills to make money. Because you have to make money. And many of you here already make money because you work, so they pay you, you make money. But making money is not enough. You also need the second M, which is manage money. So some people are good at making money, but they're extremely poor in managing it. Their spending is out of control. They have no structure. Everything just goes. And then some of you work, as soon as your salary is landing today, all the village people, all the relations, all the friends, they come at you. And then because you think you are, the Lord is my shepherd, you're everybody's shepherd, you're dishing it out. And then under 1 week, within 2 weeks, that money is gone and you're wondering, and you think you're being kind, you think you're being, sorry to say, stupid with money. That's not how you give your money out anyhow, because people come to tell you stories. And if you die tomorrow, if you die this night, those people will they will find someone else to be begging money. And then you don't help people, when you just keep giving them handouts, like that. It doesn't actually help them very much. Is someone getting value so far from this? Yeah, let me know in the comment section. Okay? Okay? Somebody getting, the problem with trends, is they die off. So does your income around it. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So I was talking about three money skills. So one is making money. The second one is managing money. And then the third one is multiplying money. So in the Financial Fitness Challenge, you must invest. In fact, one of the requirements is that you must open stockbroking accounts wherever you are in your country. We have people joining us from different places, from UAE, from everywhere, from Cameroon, from United States, from UK, from Canada. We have people. So these principles work in all those places. In all those places, Ghana, Nigeria, Ireland, some of you joining from Ireland. So make, manage, and multiply money. All right, so I can see, people are getting absolutely great value from this. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. And when you subscribe, do make sure to hit that notification bell, because that's what will let you know every time I come live, which is every weekday at 8 p.m. GMT+1. I'm always here, for you every day, talking about this subject that nobody taught us in school and that we don't hear often. All right. And if you haven't hit the love button to like this, please go ahead, and if you're getting value, do hit the like button. Hello, Aliu Barrow. You're watching from the Gambia. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. Okay. So money must either work, multiply, or build ownership. Anything else is waste. All right. So the good news I have for everyone, because that's the good news of my life. I started all over, I started all over in my late 40s, early 50s. I started all over. So in my early 50s, I just gave myself 10 years. 10 years of financial freedom. And part of it is when I start seeing results using my system, then I will teach others. And I'm seeing amazing results. So the good news is that you can turn it around. If you've worked for 20, 30 years, some of you 10 years, some of you 8 years, some of you 15 years, and then you look back and then you're asking yourself, where did the money go? Where did all the money go? Then this is for you. So I'm going to give you an exact plan, even if you're 60 or 64, all right? But you must henceforth stop working blindly. For some of you still working, still doing 9 to 5, stop working blindly and start building it intentionally. Stop working blindly, start building intentionally. That is the key. And you can turn things around. Okay, so here are the 4 steps. Okay, so I have a 4-step formula. If you're that person that's been working for 20 years or more or less, and then you are asking, where did all the money go? This is what you should do. This is exactly what you should follow. Okay? Number 1, the R, rewire how you see money. That is R. So this 4-step formula has the acronym R.E.A.L. That is R.E.A.L. So the first step is R. So I made it real so that you can remember it. And then because it is also real. So rewire how you see money. when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's a very powerful money principle because we spend money exactly to the image of money that we have in our minds. All right. So I've met people who call themselves, commissioner of enjoyment. And when that is the way you look at money, like so many people, that's the way they look at money. They say, oh, let's enjoy. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, so let's enjoy now that we have it. That's a problem. You're going to treat money in a different way from the person who sees money as a seed. If you see money as something to spend, you will spend it. My finances changed significantly when I stopped seeing money as something you spend. And then I started seeing money as seed, something that you plant, not something that you consume. My money life significantly transformed. And then I discovered that if you don't spend, you won't die. So I came up with a personal mantra, which I also want to share with you. If it can wait, it should wait. Type it in the comment section. If it can wait, it should wait. Because one of the things that destroyed my financial life in my younger years was impulsive spending. I'll travel to the US and I'll see a gadget, fantastic gadget in those days, Best Buy, or just walking the mall. And then you're just seeing these gadgets, and I'm telling myself, oh my God, we don't have this in Nigeria. Oh my God, I really need this. So I bought gadgets. Many of them I never even opened from the packets, So if it can wait, it should wait. If it can wait, it should wait. If that car can wait, if you have survived 2 years without a car, and then money comes, and then you didn't die 2 years taking a bus to and from work, you won't die for another 2 years. If you take that money that you were trying to use to buy a car and put it into something, put it into an investment that can buy you cars, not from your capital or from your salary, but from the dividends or from the profit of what you put it into. So live on your profit, not on your salary. Because if you spend your salary, then that is what I call capital cannibalization. Somebody type it in the comment section. Capital cannibalization. So you're literally eating your flesh, your financial flesh. And then you're wondering why. You look back in 20 years' time, and then you're wondering, where did all the money go? It's capital cannibalization. When your capital came, instead of putting it to work, you cannibalized it. You literally ate up your future. Okay, so start seeing money as seed. Yes, capital cannibalization. All right? So I meet capital cannibals everywhere. Everywhere. I meet people who are using their salary and even borrowing money from the cooperative in their office to travel to summer. How do I know? Because I did it. I was not stupid. I was just untrained. Capital cannibals all over the place. And then capital cannibalization is why people work for 20, 30 years. And then they ask, where did all the money go? And they can't answer it. It's capital cannibalization. All right? So don't be a capital cannibal. So every dollar, every rand, every shilling, every cedi, every naira, every pound, every euro that comes into your account, you should ask yourself, will this buy me income or cost me income? Those are just the two options. When you hold money in your hand, will this buy me income or cost me income? That's going to determine a lot of things. So that's about R.E.A.L. Rewire how you see money, because when you change the way you see your finances will change. When you change the way you see your relationships will change. When you change the way you see your wife, that woman will transform before your presence, because we don't see the world as the world is. We see the world as we are. That's why in the same country, someone is complaining about the economy, about the politicians and things like that. And somebody in that same country is actually seeing opportunity. So the problem is not the economy or the government. The problem is what you see, what you have here. And that's how you see things. All right. So that is the first step. The R, rewire how you see money. The second step, which is E, is establish an automatic wealth system. I can't teach this enough. And please join the Financial Fitness Challenge, my mentorship group, if you don't know how to create a system. In fact, this coming Sunday, today is Tuesday, for those of you watching who will watch the replay. This coming Sunday, we are having one of the pre-sessions. You know, we met a couple of days ago, a pre-session on Zoom. And man, it was fire. And then if any of you listening here was in that meeting, you can tell other people what it was like. So this Sunday, we're going to be focusing on building processes. Many people, I don't know how you can be 40 and you don't have a structure. You've not established a system for wealth. So system for wealth involves how you make money, how you manage money, and how you multiply money. If you make it a system, then the thing assumes a life of its own. A simple plan. And then you can say 10% minimum must go into an investment account monthly. And you call that your freedom fund. So automate it. So you remove it. Use the apps. Use your banking apps or whatever. Automate it. Because the moment you allow money to think, the moment if money comes in and it stays 24 hours, that money is likely going to be compromised. It's likely going to default to pleasure. It's likely going to default to being spent to something that will give you comfort or pleasure in the present time, but will not contribute to your freedom in the future. So you're always having to make a choice in everything you do with money. You either choose pleasure or you choose freedom. And then you have both. You will always have both. It's just that some people have one before they have the other. So some people choose to have pleasure right now, and then eventually they will have the frustration in the future, or they choose the delayed gratification right now, and then they have the freedom in the future. So automate it. And then when you invest, don't touch it for 5 years. If you haven't watched the video that I shared just this afternoon, that video should still be, you can find it on my YouTube channel. I shared a video of 7 stocks, 7 penny stocks that you can use to retire. And so it's got to be money that you invest and then leave it for 2, 3, 5 years. Don't touch it. If you buy like a really good company, not just at your purchasing price, you know. So in the stock markets, I don't buy based on price. I buy based on the research, what I know about that company. What do they produce? Are they producing something that people can't do without? For instance, you know, one of the stocks I shared about today is Qtix. People can't do construction. The construction industry cannot do without Qtix cables. And they have all kinds of cables for all kinds of things. You can't do without cables. And so I invest in MTN telecommunications because people will always communicate. So in another 10, 20, MTN is already here for over 20 years. 20 years, who would know? And can you imagine if you invested when they came in here, when it was tiny, you're going to be retired by now, 20 years. So you put in that money and then leave it, all right? So automate your wealth the same way that you automate your bills. So that is step number 2. Remember, step number 1 is rewire the way you look at money. And this is step number 2, E, establish an automatic wealth system. Create a system, and I can help you do that, in the mentorship. Create a system for generating wealth, especially if you're already 40. You see, because money loves structure, not random events. The same thing with the universe. The universe follows patterns, not random events. Money hates random events. Money loves structure. That's why if your tap is leaky, if your tap in the kitchen is leaky and it's just dropping, little drops every 1 minute, it drops, it just drops a little bit of water. If you put a bowl, because this was something I did, it shocked me because it's exactly what money does. Many of us are waiting until it is such a huge amount of money before we start investing. No, that's not the way money works. Money likes structure, consistency, systems. So I put a bowl under the kitchen sink, tiny drops of water. When I woke up, that big bowl was overflowing. That day, it was a rema, a revelation. It was an aha moment to me about how money functions. Okay, so shall we go to step number 3? So step number 3 is A, acquire ownership assets. So you can type it in the comment section. Acquire ownership assets, even if it is tiny ones. Start with what you can afford. I recommend stocks because stocks work, and they work for me. The only reason people complain about stock market, that they lost money in the stock market, please, it's not the market. The stock markets have been there before you were born, and people have been profiting from the stock market in over 200 years. Stock market systems will not disappear. And then the stock markets are highly regulated financial sector, very highly regulated. Very highly regulated. Your money is safer in the stock market than it is with all these scams that have, you people called investment, and then you put your money in them and then lost them. Some of you lost money to all kinds of scams. There's one in Nigeria they called MMM. I don't know which other ones they have in your countries. Have different countries here. They have these money scams. And then people are losing money every day to so-called real estate investment things. But it's not like that in the stock market. The only reason you lose money in the stock market is that you don't know what you're doing. Okay? You don't know what you are doing. That's the only reason you lose money in the stock market. I've been in the stock market for 20-something years. And I tell you, there's no better place to start nurturing your wealth. And then the amazing thing about the stock market is that you don't have to. You can start. You can start with $10. There are people who are interested in foreign stocks, in American stocks. They download Bamboo, which is an app you can use to buy stocks, like Apple. I have a few, but I don't really play strongly in those foreign stocks. But I have a few. I have Nvidia. I think I have Google. I have a couple of them, like 4. Then I have a couple of stocks, but that's not my main place. So whether you have $10 or $50, 10,000 naira or 50, you can start. That's the amazing thing with stocks. And then you may not be able to do that with real estate because you can't start buying except you come from, economies like the United States, where you have like a credit economy. And then you have a well-developed mortgage system, or maybe in the UK, the same thing. But here, in most parts of Africa, your cash is gonna be down. People are selling $500,000 houses in Lagos, and it's paid for cash because there's no mortgage. And so you don't have that kind of money. But in the stock market, you can actually start and build that kind of money over time. So start with stocks. If you can do land banking, start with that. If you can buy a vending machine and put somewhere in your office, put somewhere along the road, do it. That everyday money is very powerful. or you start, an online business, get a domain name, put up digital assets there, or you start a side business, coach, teach. People are making money teaching. There's a lady, Bolaji, in Instagram. I think her handle is Say It Right. I just love that woman, that young woman, what she does, and she teaches people how to pronounce English words, people who English isn't their native language. There's a young woman teaching, she lives in Nigeria, and she teaches Chinese people English, and she's making money, a lot of it. There are people teaching languages, making money. There are people teaching all kinds of things. Teaching how to break eggs, how to make all kinds of ridiculousness. If you look in the internet, you can type in the comment section if you've seen like a ridiculous thing people are teaching, and they're using it to make money. Russell Brunson once thought, I think he started with teaching people how to make potato guns and all kinds of things, and people are making money. All right. So start with something that you can afford, something that can bring money. And I need you to understand, this should be life-changing, for someone. Ownership is, doesn't mean size. Because when we think about ownership, we are now thinking about Dangote. He has a refinery, he has sugar, big sugar refinery business and things like that. No. Ownership, means control. For instance, I decided that everything I use, I want to own it. I don't just want to rent it. So for instance, I use a telephone every day, the mobile phone. I decided to buy into the phone company that I use. So every time these people pay me debit, every time I use my phone, so you see how I'm spending, I'm becoming richer. So every time I use that phone, I make money. And then every time you use it, I make money off you because it's my company. So every time you buy airtime or you purchase data, I make money. So I'm an owner. I could have cannibalized my capital, but I decided, no, let me invest my capital so that capital from the children, if you like, that is producing, I will use that same service. The same thing I do with banks. I don't just want to be using a bank. Every bank, the banks I use, I bought into them. So anytime the bank makes a charge, I earn money. So you complain because you are not an owner. You're not an owner of that bank. So when they charge you, you are angry, you complain. But I don't complain with you. Why? Because I'm an owner. I bought the shares. That's what the stock market is. I bought the shares. So I'm a part owner of that bank. Is this helping somebody? So ownership doesn't necessarily mean size. It means control. So you can start with what you have. So start owning things that make you money while you sleep. That is very important. If you don't have things that make you money while you sleep, then in the future you won't sleep because you'll continue to run after money. You'll continue to work for money. And then L, very important, the last step, learn high-income investment skills. Learn high-income investment skills. So if you keep exchanging time for money, you will always run out of money. So, but you can learn particularly how to sell. Can I tell you something that will change your life? Everybody here, can I tell you something that will change your life permanently? Whether you're watching from Uganda, I see somebody from Uganda, or from Gambia, or from the United States, or from Canada, or from America, wherever. Can I tell you something that will change your life forever? If you can take it, within 30 days, you will come back to this session and say, Ogbo, thank you. This changed my life. Are you ready for it? Sell something every day. Type it in the comment section. It's not earth-shattering. The thing is just whether you sell something every day. There are 8 billion people in the universe. Everyone spends money every day. Everyone spends money every day. Meaning that you spend money.
But why do you want to be only the buyer? You're the buyer. Every day you're buying, but you're not selling. You go to the grocery store, you buy water, you buy tomatoes, you buy onion, you buy meat, you buy this, you buy airtime, you buy. My goodness, you're buying yourself into poverty. You be the seller. Switch it. The most important skill you can learn for your financial freedom is to sell. Whether you're selling services or you're selling a product, sell something every day. That will change your life, okay? Learn to sell, learn to invest, learn to multiply money, leverage platforms like YouTube, stocks, real estate courses. I meet young people who are earning $10,000, $20,000. I met a young man who earns $20,000 and more from Faceless YouTube channel. In fact, he's running a program right now. And then since he started that program, teaching people how to run Faceless YouTube channel so that your face doesn't even need to be there. And anybody can do it, including stay-at-home moms. We are also planning that in the Financial Fitness Challenge group. We just want to, like in the Financial Fitness Challenge, we do everything to just make sure that you make money, you manage it, and then that you multiply your money. Because until you do that, you can never retire. And then if you don't do that, you can never even find time to start facing the purposes of God for your life. You're here for a purpose. And then many of us cannot begin to access our purposes because we are busy working for money. Okay? So your job made you a living, but these skills will make you wealthy. And then what you want is not to have a living, because anybody can live. But are you wealthy? So between just making a living and being wealthy, which one is better? Okay? So, in summary, many of us have been working for 20, 30, 40 years, and then we look back, there's nothing to show for it. And then the main reason is that we were never taught. And then also capital cannibalization. And we were never really financially intelligent. And it's hurting us because you're 50, 55, and you don't have an asset. You don't have a portfolio of assets at 55. That is emergency. That is emergency. Salary is not wealth. Okay, so mistake has been made. How do you deal with it? So you can do it on your own. Just go back, rewind this video. It's going to be posted after the live session. Listen to it again. Take notes. You can do it by yourself, DIY. The other thing is I run a monthly mentorship group. It's called the Financial Fitness Challenge. Just like its name implies, it helps you to understand how financially fit you are. Because many of us are in our 40s, in the 50s and all that. We are not financially fit. We are not financially fit. And so, first thing is that when you join the group, you understand where you stand, your financial fitness. We do a diagnosis of your money to understand what are the root causes that have kept you, that the obstacles keeping you from moving forward, financially. And then you create a plan to earn money every day. You create a plan to get into the financial markets, because many of us are very, very illiterate in the financial markets. All we've known all our lives is the labor market, but there are 4 kinds of markets. Many of you are in the labor market. There's financial markets, and there are 2 other markets, that we're going to deal with in the group. So if you want to be part of this, it's paid for just a very, very tiny amount so that it will be possible for literally anyone in any part of the world who is serious about rewiring their financial future. So if you live in Nigeria, it is 125,000 naira. But we are running an early bird special. And so if you send a message to me right now, in the WhatsApp number I'm going to give you, we will tell you how to pay the early bird, with 20,000 totally off. And then within minutes, you'll be admitted in the financial fitness group because it's hot already there. It's hot. Incredible conversations going on there. We have one of the stockbroking firms embedded in the group to help people to open stockbroking accounts and to start buying shares, to start buying assets. Because no amount of Googling and no amount of scrolling through the social media can replace your getting things done. And in the mentorship group, you get things done. You start that side hustle. You start an investment account. You buy your first share. There are people in the group who are buying shares for the very first time. That's Financial Fitness Challenge. So if you don't have Naira, it's okay. If you're abroad and you have access, you have a Nigerian account, you can still pay Naira. But if you don't have Naira, the early bird is $105. And then just say, send me payment details. And then send it to this WhatsApp number right now as I'm talking. Okay, immediately after we end this, send that WhatsApp. And then, because I'm going to retire, I'm just going to be around for maybe 10 minutes to get the messages, and then I'm going to retire. It's been a busy day. So send that message, and I'm going to stand by for 10 minutes to send you the payment details. And then when you pay, you will join that group. Right? That group is very active. I'm telling you, there's a lot going on already there. And so that you can catch up. So the WhatsApp number is +234 8088 000 111. So you can imagine, if you got this value and you get this kind of value free, you can imagine what it is when you join my mentorship group to start implementing. So the number again is +234 8088 000 111. Don't call the number. It can only receive texts. It can't call. It can't answer call. Just send me payment details. We will do that. Pay quickly and then get automatic admission into the group tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow. Okay? All right, so let's take a few questions and then comments. And then for those of you joining us, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. And then if you haven't pressed the love button for the value that you have gotten tonight, please go ahead and do that. It helps the algorithm to make this information free for people who need to have it. Sharon says this is good information. Thank you. Nzeng says salary is not worth. Absolutely. Okay. Good evening, sir. How can I be coached by you? Jose Rodriguez says that. So Jose, I just told you how to do that. There is one-on-one sessions start from $500, but this group is just $105, and it's literally for life. And then the amazing thing about the group is that you have people from different countries on the planet, and then from different walks of life, who you can network with. There are people from Canada, there are people from US, UK, Ireland, somebody in Dubai, another person UAE. There are people in all kinds of walks of life. We have people in the military, somebody who works with the US Navy. We have medical personnel, we have IT people, we have farmers, we have people in the finance in that group. So you can imagine the kind of people who follow me. It's not just any kind of person, because we're not actually admitting, and that's why we just put that filter there. Because some people are already saying, no, my salary is 15K. It's probably not for you. And so you can follow the free coaching sessions. You can still achieve the same thing that we are doing in the financial fitness group. So you don't really have to join. If you just want to do it a little bit faster and with my guidance, send that message right now, and then you can get started like in another couple of minutes. Okay, Jose says I live in Nigeria and I can pay in Naira. That's perfectly fine. I'll just send that message to the WhatsApp number that I've called, +234 8088 000111, and then you'll get that. Benson says, I have been following you for some time now. I appreciate every word out of your mouth. Uganda loves you. Thank you very much. I love Uganda as well. And then I'm hoping sometime later this year to tour some African countries. People have been reaching out to me from Uganda, from Liberia, from South Sudan. So I think I might start having some very busy itinerary. Anne, my special friend, Anne is in the States, says, are you familiar with Computer Share? I have very small amount of stocks invested there. No, Anne, I'm not familiar with Computer Share. Is that a platform? Is that an app? Yeah, but the principles are basically the same. Chief Bema asks, how long does the master class last? It's for life, but every month, for each month, there are 3 days that we have live sessions. But when you join today, when you join right now, there are worksheets, there are exercises, there are step-by-step things you do to prepare you for the live Zoom sessions, where I coach people on the spot, where I teach you about systems, and where you have to create a 90-day plan to transform your finances, and also where you find accountability in the group. Because many times, we don't do the things that nobody is holding us accountable. So accountability is a very important part of that. Where is the early bird? Does it apply for only people in Nigeria? No, it doesn't, okay? Ilesome, you're still waiting to be admitted. Please send a message. There's an instruction that you should send your payment proof to this particular WhatsApp number, and then my team will admit you immediately. So please resend it if you have sent it before, and then you'll be admitted immediately. Sharon says, please, can you teach how to create a portfolio? All right, I can do that. We can do that in the live session. All right. Theophilus is asking, please, what are the stocks you are accumulating? I would like you to look at the previous video that I talked about 7 stocks, okay? There are 7 penny stocks that I'm accumulating right now, because those stocks in the next 1 to 24 years from the research I've done, so 24 months, in the next 12 to 24 months to 36 months, those stocks are not going to be penny stocks anymore. All right, Anne, I will check it out. Anne says that it is worldwide. I'll check it out, Anne. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Jadon just subscribed to my channel. Thank you very much. Okay, Ilesome. All right, please just resend it. Just resend it right now, and then the team will attend to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, just perfect place to draw the curtain tonight. I will be here exactly same time tomorrow. So hit the notification button so that once I go live, you will know. And then feel free to ask your questions even ahead of time, and I'll be able to do that. So thank you all very much. Whatever happens, please do not be discouraged. Things are not as bad as they seem. And keep showing up, because you never know what's coming your way next. And I'll see you exactly same time tomorrow. Good night, and then good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from.